I sit with some of the most powerful people in the world. No debate. Being black is probably the challenge. Word of mouth amongst elites is like the best you can get. Customizing watches was frowned upon. It was like, no, don't touch my watch. You're making it Frankenstein. I'm gonna create a business that appeals to 99% of the world. When I always tell people like, oh, I design watches, like, they're like, what? I thought you was gonna say you're a rapper.
Hi Black Circle family, and welcome back to another episode. And as ever, I am your host Zoe, and today's guest has built a career in one of the world's most exclusive creative industries. As a luxury watch style designer and creative director, he creates bespoke pieces for private collectors, transforming some of the world's most prestigious timepieces into deeply personal works of art. Alongside that, he's the founder of an affordable watch brand built on the belief that great design shouldn't be reserved for luxury price tags. From collaborating with artists like Slawn to exploring the intersection of craftsmanship, culture and creativity, today we're talking about what it really means to create something timeless. Welcome, Manny.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you here. How are you doing today?
Well, thank you.
Good.
Nice summer day.
It is, yeah, for once, it's a nice summer day. Manny, I really want to kind of like go back to the start, as all good stories start there. Tell me about young Manny and where you were in terms of design and aesthetics. Is that something that you noticed from an early age, or like where did that story begin for you?
Yeah, no, actually. Young Manny. Growing up, it was trouble. Suspensions, getting kicked out of school. So design really wasn't on my cards. I mean, there was something that we did in, I think it was design tech, and we had, those big folders, and we drew something on it. So I was like maybe into graffiti, writing, like semi into that. But yeah, design wasn't a part of my vision going forward in life. It was more everybody kind of, family, engineering, saying I should go into engineering, which didn't happen in the end, but I studied it. And then, the sports, you want to play football, you want to do something in other industries. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't design. Wasn't a design-led youth.
Mm-hmm. So where did that kind of kick in for you?
So I started off designing, or should I say selling, custom phones.
Okay.
So that was custom phones, gold iPads, diamond iPads, diamond encrusted Apple logoed iPads, Blackberries, iPods. That's where kind of my, you could say my creative or design background began. And that was with my two cousins who are brothers. One's Alex and the other Anthony Amosu. And they brought me in, come into the business, understand it, and let's make some money. So that then, of course, went on for several years. I say it all the time. I used to go into university with a gold iPad, not thinking anything of it. And people would look at me like, but I'm totally oblivious. I'm like, this is just something I'm just doing. And, not really like taking it in, like going to uni with a gold iPad. Yeah. Which is, looking back at it, is actually quite strange. Especially when I wasn't like from a wealthy background, or, came to school in a Lamborghini, and, it was more like I've just got a gold iPad in my backpack and I'm just bringing it out to look at lectures and stuff. So, that's kind of where it began. And then when that sort of business model kind of became a bit crowded, then I was looking for the next thing that I could kind of transfer those skills to, but aim for or target a much more wealthier demographic.
Okay.
So by chance I was introduced to a watch dealer who on the first instance said to me, yeah, let's do some work together. So I didn't actually go into designing watches at that stage. I just wanted to learn about watches because all I knew was a Rolex. And this was like 2009, 2010. All I knew was Rolex, and when I went into that world, I'm like, oh, there's different watches. There's different brands. Oh, okay. Like, then social media wasn't a thing. No one around me knew anything other than Rolex. So it was, for me, it was like, that's interesting. Never seen it. And like, The first client was from Taiwan. He sent me his watch. Never heard this brand before at the time. I then researched it. It was a 30 grand watch he sent me to customize. And there's a Patek Philippe. Right. And that was my introduction to the actual brand Patek Philippe, which then I then went to go and learn more about watches after that. And then, we just kind of continued.
It's just listening to kind of like your early stage of like university and, oh God, I can't believe I'm about to say this word, blinging up like laptops and phones and iPads and things like that. Where did that come from? Because I'm so curious.
That's not
like
me. That's my cousins. Those are my cousins. They started that business. Like my cousin's got the world's most expensive iPhone. You know, world's most expensive suit. That's their business.
But I'm saying in terms of like the aesthetic, like why the flash? Like was that something that
there was an appeal for it?
Just an appeal,
right? There's a client base for it. You know, like they say, there's a client for everything.
Yeah.
Like literally anything. So that was just the market that they kind of coined, had it, you know, under, you know, lock and key. And they would, you know, Russians, Arabs, Chinese. I think those are the three main customer bases. And that was, it was a thing. It was a big thing. I know we pushed the units.
Yeah.
I remember one particular year we was doing a BlackBerry 9900s. Hotcakes. I remember one time we had about, I think 30, 40 Blackberries that we did at one time. Like once, it was like a huge order. Crazy. Yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned Russians, Asian, those type of markets. But what was happening with like either the diaspora market, like the African markets, or was that there?
So Alex, my cousin, he dealt with that market specifically.
But it did exist.
It did exist,
right,
100%. Right. It did exist. And because he's like a known figure in like Africa, Nigeria more specifically, he had a certain, you know, elite. Because like to have money in Africa is always looked at like, oh, you've got money. He dealt with those guys specifically, but it's there.
And maybe we'll touch on that a bit more when we're talking about kind of like your client base and things of that nature. So from your perspective, what makes a great piece of design? Like regardless of whether it's a chair or a building, like what's the thing for you?
What makes a great, you know, I just have to feel something. Like if I look at a design, and I feel like, okay, I'm about to, because, you know, what we do is all consumer based, right? A good design, in my opinion, is something that connects with people. If a group, a demographic, look at a particular design, product, watch, car, whatever it is, and they say, you know what, I like that. For me, that's a good design, because you're pretty much getting confirmation that what you've done connects with a specific audience, however big or small it is.
And how do you like approach it methodically when you're thinking about design? What's your process?
Just research and development. Just look at designs that have been done before, designs that have been done like elsewhere other than like the medium that I'm working on, watches, and also look at things that people have probably missed. Brands miss it all up, like big brands. Wow, they miss it. I mean, for me, I think my breaking point in watches, and I'll say this any time of the day, I broke the Arabic or Hindi Arabic numerals on watches. Like,
really?
I broke that. And there's no one can tell me anything other than like before 2011, 2012, when I put the first design out with Hindi Arabic, otherwise known as Arabic numerals, which isn't the technically correct. It's actually Hindi Arabic. Brands weren't really pushing that design. There were brands in the 1960s, Rolex did it. I think they were like maybe independent, like collectors requested it. But like 2011, 2012 through till 2014, there was no one really pushing that narrative other than my company. And then soon after that, everybody started doing it. So yeah, I'll stand on that. Any watch collector anywhere in the world, come and challenge me and we'll speak.
Stand on it. It sounds like it's very like Eurocentric, you know, sometimes we equate luxury with this Eurocentric idea of luxury. So what was the response from that particular market when you was like, listen, I see you, I'm thinking about your culture, and
It was instantaneous. I mean, you wouldn't get I wasn't getting the order straight away.
Right.
I was getting the engagement straight away. Like, oh, we haven't seen this. Like, all right, Rolex. There was a date that they put out in 2014. 2013, a year before, I designed the exact same Rolex. So we got a ton of messages, a ton of emails saying, oh, is this a real Rolex? Like, is it original? I'm like, yeah, it's not that it's not original. We've just customized the dial. And I put on there Happy Eid in calligraphy, like a circle above the 6-hour marker, but everything else had like Arabic numerals. I used an old style of Arabic numerals that Rolex used in the 1960s, I believe it was, which isn't the best. But then we kind of upgraded that later on to more like nicer, like Arabic text.
Yeah. But again, it's just like thinking about other markets outside of that Eurocentric idea.
Yeah.
I want to kind of touch on building business around creativity. So you design watches worth tens of thousands of pounds, but you also build affordable watches. So why do you think it's important to create both?
Yeah, so I give myself, we have a scale of 100%, right? I always say that the luxury market, what percentage is that tailored to?
Are you asking me?
Yeah,
1%?
1%,
Of course,
fantastic.
Yeah.
1%, we always say it's always to the 1%, but then it's 99%. So I said to myself, all right, cool. If I'm going to create a second business within the watch market, I'm going to create a business that appeals to 99% of the world, which is anyone that can afford anything from 0 pence all the way up until whatever you call luxury is luxury. And that was the idea behind that. Create two brands. There's no point, I mean, not to say there's no point, but for me, it was like, I'm not from a luxury background, so I can't really relate to a Rolex watch as a first purchase. Like in watches, I mean, that's the honest, truth. And I think that's many people's truth as well.
Of course, yeah.
So I said, all right, let's design a watch. Take all of those design ideas that you've done for the luxury and bring it to an affordable piece and, systematically roll it out. So that's my whole thing about building an affordable watch brand. It will appeal to 99% because 99% of people will, or I would say a good percentage of that 99% will afford a piece that's affordable. Under £100, definitely.
And let's shout out the brand because we was having a conversation off camera.
The brand is SWRISS, SWRISS.
Yeah.
And the website for that is SWRISS.com. So
and what was kind of like the concept behind the name and when did you start on that project?
Do you want me to give you an honest answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to compete with Swatch.
Okay, that's honest.
So that is my thing. I've designed Swatch watches for collectors who've paid a premium because of my design. So I said,
I
might as well do my own myself, just invest a few more thousand and create a watch that is appealing to the masses. So that was kind of like the inspiration. And then design wise, again, it's because I'd done so many things on like luxury pieces. I was like, all right, cool. I always get a ton of people messaging. My company gets a ton of people messaging, saying that they want the watch, but some people can't afford the watch. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let me create some level of association with the brand that people can see is direct. And then they were like, okay, well, I can't afford the luxury stuff. Let's go for the more affordable stuff. And then,
Yeah, so you're filling that gap in the market,
Correct.
as you said.
Correct.
So I know that you deal with a lot of ultra-high net worth collectors.
Yeah.
So what has that taught you about people? Like, because I guess they're a very specific set of people with very specific needs. So what are the pressures or the pros of that?
Yeah, time is usually one of the major pressures because wealthy people, they want things done yesterday.
Yeah.
And sometimes managing those expectations can sometimes, a lot of the time, be challenging. But I remember when I got into the watch market and I started doing this customization at this level, someone told me, who's been in the watch business for a whole, is like, look, you're going to deal with a lot of this, but as soon as they receive that product, they're going to completely forget about all of that. So you just have to kind of muscle it through, but conduct yourself in a very professional manner. Speak to them in ways that they would understand. I mean, I remember having a conversation with a client from Saudi Arabia, and we was on the phone talking about why it took so long to customize his watch. I remember this conversation like it was yesterday. We was on the phone for at least an hour just talking about the reason why it was taking so long.
That sounds like a demanding customer.
Well, it was a demanding customer, but it was someone who was connected to the royal family. So
Right. So you're just like, listen, I'm gonna have 2 hours if we need to talk 2 hours.
I mean, it wasn't intentional, but I was passionate about what I was doing at the same time, because what then happened was that watch was the watch he wore when he gave birth, when he had a child.
Oh, okay.
So, I saw that picture and I looked at it, I'm like, this is amazing. Like, this is something I can really talk about, like now. So, yeah.
And so I guess, like, when you say that, luxury items as well, we think of it as like a, symbol piece, but it can also be sentimental for a lot of people.
Very, very sentimental.
And tied into that, which is kind of like another beautiful layer of creating.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I guess I wanted to just kind of explore, like when we talk about, again, these clients, these high net worth clients, just how you bridge that kind of your world and their world. Is there any other concerns or?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Simple. I'm black.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
That's it.
I think that's what I was trying to say in the roundabout way.
Yeah, no, I can say it because I know most of these guys. So yeah, like the first thing, trust. A black person, and let's have it right. A lot of these people don't trust black people,
right.
for obvious reasons. And you can't blame them, because I've been at both sides of the spectrum. So that is a concern. But you see, word of mouth amongst elites is like the best you can get. Like, forget Instagram, forget likes, forget comments. You see, when an elite client says he's
that recommendation,
the right guy, forget about it. You're in. Like, I sit in certain offices and I look around like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Like it still wows me. Like, I could be in, Doha. I mean, like crazy mansions. I mean, crazy buildings that, only certain people can get through. So that is like, being black is probably the challenge. But once you cross that barrier of trust, especially when you've exchanged lots of money and you've never done anybody dirty, man, they'll respect you.
Yeah, I think like that reputation kind of precedes you. But also I think like having that layer of your blackness, it is unfair. We shouldn't have to prove it, because my thinking is, if that was a white person, you're automatically given the trust. But people are people. You've got good people, bad people in every demographic.
You're right.
And so it's just like, I that's why I wanted to kind of get it, just to see like where it lands for you. Yes. So if two watches tell exactly the same time, what makes one worth £200 and another £20,000?
What went into making it? That's mostly, it's not always, but for the most part, it's what the mechanics, the machine, the bit beyond the dial. That's what makes it a lot more than it is. But then, of course, you have the branding.
Yeah.
So you've got the marketing, the branding, because people always say, we can make the same watch, someone's paying $1 million for it, but we can make it for 10 grand. But then you think about the guy that's selling his watch for $1 million, he's probably marketing that like crazy. He's at Wimbledon, he's at Formula One, he's at, simple, an example, Richard Mille, right? Richard Mille, his watches now go for 6 figures minimum, yeah? You're not getting a watch that's below 6 figures. Impossible. 10 years ago, maybe, but now, impossible. And there's other brands that say they can make exactly the same thing for a lot cheaper. Difference is, he's in Formula One. You tell me, can you go sponsor a car or a whole team in Formula One and think it's cheap? If you can, then keep selling your watches at 10 grand. If you can't, you have to sell your watches at 6 figures plus, because that's a lot of money. I was trying to take Formula One to a country, and I know the figures that they're asking for.
Right.
So, that's one side. I also know the figures that teams are asking for. It's not cheap.
I can imagine.
It's not cheap. So, yes. If you can price and show credibility and the reasons why you're pricing in terms of visibility, the brands, companies, individuals you're associated with, go for it, man. Sell. If you want to sell it for $1 billion, sell your watch for $1 billion. Like, if it makes sense, go for it.
I'm sure there are watches out there. I don't know if there are watches for $1 billion, but
I haven't seen a watch for $1 billion, but definitely
that would be crazy.
Hundreds. I've seen so far. I think I've seen a watch go for. I've seen just under 100 million, like real life. I'm sure there's others that's gone for a bit more than 100 million, but I've seen just under.
Yeah.
100 million.
Yeah.
Auctions go crazy as well.
Yes, yeah, because I guess like collectibles and vintage and all those type of things, one-offs and things like that. I know, but sometimes I've seen some like really gaudy watches sell for, I guess it's subjective, right, taste.
Very.
But I'm just like, there was one, and it often pops up on social media, and it's blue, and it looks like, everyone's like, it looks like a Burger King watch. I can't remember the brand. That's going to annoy me so much.
And it's how much?
Oh God, it was like in the millions. Like, I can't remember the brand. It's so annoying. But it's like this blue all over.
Yeah.
But everyone was like, this looks like it come out of like a Burger King box or something.
MB&F. You're probably talking about MB&F.
I can't remember. I don't want to like
the
slur
buffoon.
the...
Those are the two. They're very animated pieces.
Right.
Those are the two watches that come to mind. Depending on obviously the model that you're talking about, it's probably Max Boozer and Friends. But yeah, there's whole stories behind those. But again, it's the mechanism.
Right.
The design process. Yes, you could say it comes out of a Burger King box or whatever, but that's why people buy it, because it could have come out of that. But it's fun. It's a fun watch. It's something that you can look at, and it tells the time very differently. Traditionally the watch goes around in a circle, but they could have some complications that maybe it clicks like this for the seconds, it goes like this for the minutes, it goes like this for the hours. Might have a jumping hour, might have a minute repeat. There's so many different things in watches that people don't tend to understand. However, if you are learning about watches, understand that people are creating new designs so that it can appeal to one, maybe an older demographic who wants something different, or a newer demographic who are just getting into money. And it's fun. Nobody wants to look at the same watch in different brands 100 different times. It's like, okay, what's the difference between that watch and this watch? People want to be a bit more distinctive nowadays, especially watch brands that have the pocket to do it. And it's sometimes you lose before you gain when you come into these kind of industries. I haven't gotten to that level. I'm still, the affordable space, because that's where I feel comfortable. But should I go into that space, I'd obviously look at these other brands that have actually attempted these wild designs, or creative or artistic designs, I should say, and see, where it takes me, because it is a lot.
Of course.
It is a lot. It does take a lot. And there's a lot of research and development. You have to think about the shock. You have to think about how it tells the time, if it's legible or not, if the color combination is correct, if the machine is working correctly when it goes into water, is it screwed properly? How does it work when it gets there's so many different tests that you have to do with watches, and sometimes it takes years before a particular watch comes to the market. So I have to commend those guys that go for it.
Absolutely. And you touched on, the branding side of things. So what would you say your strategy is, or for bringing like your brand into the world? Like, how did that branding story start for you?
Okay, so I looked up all the families in the Middle East, specific countries, GCC. So that's Saudi, Qatar, Oman, Kuwait, UAE, and Bahrain. So I looked at those 6 countries and I said, who are the royal families within these 6 countries? I said, okay, and I think I asked Google at the time, like, okay, how can I identify who the members of these families are? And then it kind of came back to me and said, you have to look at their last names.
Right.
So I said, all right, let me start looking at those top guys who are on social media currently, because a lot of people really hadn't tapped into them at the time. This guy's the Crown Prince. It looks like a legit profile. All right, I'm gonna tap into that, give him a message, but I'm also gonna message everybody he follows.
Okay, yeah.
So then I went through that, and then when I got a bit bored, I'll pick someone from the list that he follows, and then I'll continue that chain. I basically just went through everyone's like name, researched them and on social media, sent them a kind of like a call message. And then, that's how I began. Literally, that's how I began.
Yeah. Hi, Black Circle family. I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. It would really mean the world to me if you could take 2 seconds just to like, follow, subscribe and share, and really help me to build this community and keep the conversation going. Thank you. Yeah. So obviously, I'm not saying there's no real strategy, because that is a strategy, but I guess you were just pulling into like different people's networks, I guess.
I said, I don't know these guys
Right.
directly. No one's going to take, I'm not going to call, I'm going to call the embassy and say, hey, embassy, like, I know you guys are from UAE, but can you mind introduce me to the sheikh?
Right,
Because
right,
I've
of
got,
course.
I said, look, if no one's going to introduce me, I'm just going to introduce myself. You know, and that time I was by myself, you know, doing the stuff of the watches. So the only way that I thought, like, as a human being behind this account.
Right,
It's
yeah.
not a bot, it's not an AI. It's a human being. Whether it's the person or it's not, we're going to find out. So that's all I did. I just said, you know what? Hey, let's see what happens. Yeah,
That's what I always
Yeah.
say. It can always result in just a no, and nobody dies. That's fine if it's a no. You know, that's fine. But we're talking about a lot of different markets. I want to talk because this is the Black Circle, and you know we
Yeah,
want to focus
let's
on
do it. Let's do
want to
it.
focus on Black brilliance and
Yeah,
all those
yeah.
good things. So I want to touch on more about like the African market,
Yeah,
or
let's talk.
the market here with Black Brits and Black Americans, and just what does that look like as we currently stand?
For me, as a company, I'm starting to pick up on a lot of, black collectors. So just to touch on very slightly, I collaborated with Slawn on the Slawn Rolex, the first one he put out.
That's one of my questions.
Yeah. But I'm just,
my next
I
question.
won't go into that
No, it's fine.
a lot until the question comes. But what I was trying to say is that kind of helped facilitate some conversations because let's be honest. Black people wouldn't come to me and ask for a watch.
Why do you say that? No. We have to unpack this.
I don't
Why
know.
do you
You
say
gotta
that?
ask them.
What's your perception of why they might ask?
They
that?
prefer to go to other people. Maybe because I haven't marketed myself enough. That
Okay.
could be a flaw on my part. Or to a way that they're satisfied. Remember, black people like things that are like really blah, 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 blah. The Middle East, the Chinese, just listen, can you do it? Yes, you can. Okay, I want 200 of those. But
Okay.
that's it. Can you do it? Mohammed said you can do it. Black people, you can do it. No. Oh my God, have you seen it? No. That's the difference,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Is that a negative though? I'm gonna push you a little bit.
I'm
on
gonna
it,
let the audience decide that one.
All right, okay, fair.
Let your audience decide whether that's positive or negative.
Yeah.
You know, I sit with some of the most powerful people in the world. No debate. But when it comes to like working with black people, I think the collaboration with Slawn actually opened that door as, you did. I mean, I was on the phone to somebody the other day. He didn't know because, the way it was marketed, it wasn't, and it's good. I like it that way. I said, we were talking about watches. Oh yeah, I did the Slawn. He's like, swear down.
Right.
You did that. He said, wow, that's sick. But then people around me who know that I did that, it's like, yeah, that's my guy. He did it. So what I'm trying to say is, I think it's the collaboration with a fellow black person built a layer of trust or like
Legitimacy,
or
would you say?
or legitimacy, yeah, or just like he's a confirmed guy. So anybody, I mean, I have had a client or two over the years that or per year that comes forward and says, yeah, I want to buy something from you, and it's been always good. So it's just a matter of how we market ourselves or how I market myself. In my opinion, that's how you get the black market, or you're part of a elite black family network,
Right.
where everybody trusts everybody. But remember, these networks are so small. Everybody trusts everybody, and then they're like, yeah, he's the guy. Because there are black people buying from black people.
Of course, and
There
this
are.
is my thing about visibility,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If we can see that we have these people's in position, like yourself, who are building this, then I think it goes a long way to being like, okay, I would rather put money in this person. But I feel like we're getting a lot better at that as the generations go on. So that's why I was like, I wonder what that landscape looks like for you now in
Yeah.
2026. Are you seeing more wealth, more generations that are coming with wealth, and they're like, I want to buy black, I want to keep it black owned,
I'll be honest with you, I just want to do good business.
Right. Okay.
I don't
There's no
care
colour
whether-
in your
there's
business.
There's
Right.
no colour in my business. Just do good business.
Yeah.
And build great relationships.
Yeah,
Because look, I'll be honest with you, watches is good, right? But talking millions, unless you have a big client like I do, who purchases like multiple items off of you at once.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to hit that million. Even people selling watches, let's have it right. Like their margins are not that great. Yeah. And they have to sell a lot. They have to market a lot. They have to appeal. They have to look cool in front of the camera. But but they're not millionaires. Yeah, let's be honest. When I say millionaires, their revenue might be million, but their profit isn't. Yeah, so
I want to kind of move on, and we spoke about it just a little bit earlier about Slawn. Is when culture enters luxury, and we've had a little dabble into that already.
That was a very, I loved that move. It was such an amazing move, and that's something that I will always salute till tomorrow, man. It was a moment, and nobody's done it, and I was happy to be the one that did it.
So tell us about the project, like how it came about, the conversations.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a grey cloud around it, just because of how it was marketed, but
you're wearing it, so just I don't know if we can catch that on camera. Is that the design, the Slawn design?
This is zeros. This is like the zero. This is actually number one.
Right.
Zero is with Dave.
Yep. Because there were 12 pieces made.
No, there was 10.
10 pieces made.
There was 10 pieces made.
Yeah.
For the public, and then there was the samples and stuff, just to check everything's going well with it. But this is probably. I mean, I want to say mine is zero. I think it sounds better.
Yeah. But tell us what it is. Yeah.
So basically, what I did was I was approached a couple of years ago, to work with Slawn. And the reason why I'm not mentioning the person or the group is because some funny business, but we're not going to get into that. And I'm a stand-up guy. I always stand for the right stuff.
And Slawn is a renowned artist.
Yeah, he's a renowned artist based in the UK, Nigerian. And, at that point in time, it was a great thing. So actually, the conversations began. And then they kind of died. And then funny enough, I bumped into him at Soho House. I was like, yo, Slawn, that such and such, was talking about XYZ. Like, what are you saying? Like, should we do this thing? He's like, oh yeah, oh my God, yeah. Let's do some stuff. And then we started chopping it up pretty much 24 hours later. Sent him some renders. And then we started sieving through the different designs, because he had different art pieces. And then I called up Adam, and then he said, oh, why don't you come and check me in person, the art piece that we're going to use for it. So I told Adam Southgate is my photographer. I said, come with me, and we're going to take some live pictures of being together, as well as the art piece that we're probably going to use for the work. And then we then took that picture, which was the Berlin. It was a picture of the Berlin piece that's on the dial now. We took that picture in high resolution, and then I had to go back and I had to kind of like vectorize it and all the rest of it. And then we just still having discussions about, how it's going to go, and, the 3D model, and he got like Lil Yachty involved to do the voiceover, and there was a lot that surrounded it at the time. It was, I think we had a few weeks of conversation, if I'm not mistaken. And then he then made an announcement. I gave him a 3D model. He then had one of his designers edit the dial design on there to superimpose the artwork that we were using. And then, made an announcement. Everybody went crazy about it. But the way he did it was so sick, because he made it look like Rolex collaborated with him. But anybody who actually collects watches, you would know that, Rolex wouldn't, do a collaboration like that.
Right.
And if they did, the rollout would be insane.
Yes, everybody would know about it.
It would be insane rollout. Like, they probably showcase it at Wimbledon. So he made an announcement, I think, a month before. And then on the day of the drop, a month later, sold out all 10 pieces.
Wow!
Within minutes,
just within minutes, incredible. But again, like, because you're bringing something to the market that hasn't been done before. I've never seen something like that on a Rolex watch, and I think it's stunning. It is a piece of art. Literally, you're wearing art.
Well, sorry to interject there. I actually did this 4 years prior, but I just did it with the Middle Eastern market. Nobody knew,
right?
And it worked.
Right.
I had one of the leaders of a country's son purchase an art piece that we did in exactly the same way, of his father, late father actually. But I had another artist. I had several artists in the Middle East actually do different versions of their inspiration on a dial, on a Rolex Datejust 41 dial. So that's where it came from, so that I knew it could be done.
Right.
And it was kind of accepted. There's a whole story behind that, like there was another artist that I actually introduced this concept to, which is Bradley Theodore, who has worked with Rolls-Royce. And I said, yo, Bradley, why don't we do something? He then gave me advice. And I always talk about these things very clearly, so I don't want it to seem like, I'm trying to take all the glory.
No.
He's the one that said, listen, no one's going to listen. Like, what you're doing is sick, but no one is going to hear us in America with this.
And why do you think that is?
It's just the watch culture, the which people, like, what I've done,
Yeah.
like, people frowned upon it 10 years ago.
Right.
Customizing watches was frowned upon. It was like, no, don't touch my watch. You're making it Frankenstein. It's disgusting. But those same people, like, now they're, oh, that's nice design. So it's, you know.
Yeah. But I always go back to culture starts with us. And when I say us, I mean black people.
1000%.
Then they catch up because we push the culture. It goes into mainstream and then they they appropriate it. And it's such a vicious cycle. But it's annoying that you was already, like, you had the foresight and, you know, to be innovative like 10 years ago. And now everybody's just catching up. But who do they give the credit to? This is the thing.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
But then, like, stuff like this, which, you know, I've always been against, like, going on podcasts to talk about my business, but, you know, sometimes it's needed,
Of
you know.
course.
So, you know, we kind of put like a stamp in it, like, all right, cool, there's somebody out there that's saying that he did it. Can we check the records? Like, is it true? Like, did he really do it? I've never heard of him, but I've heard of the company that he's saying he's a part of or he owns. Okay, wow, I didn't realize it. So it's good that, you know, we have platforms like this to come on every now and again to kind of just set the record straight.
100%.
And then, we can use it as reference whenever.
This is why I do it, because I want people to know that Manny existed. He did this thing, you know, I think your background's Nigerian.
Yeah, I'm Nigerian.
As a Nigerian creative and artist and, you know, innovator, like, this is why, because nobody can then go against the record. This is on record.
I mean, I'd love to hear people go against it. Like, I've been ready for it like 10 years now.
Yeah,
like, just for someone to tell me, oh, no, it wasn't you.
Right.
I'm like, cool.
Got the receipt.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So.
So the watch we already mentioned that sold out almost immediately and has since become highly collectible. Did you expect that response?
No, I didn't think it was going to go as well as it did. And I don't even think Slawn did, to be honest. Obviously, he's got an audience. He knows how to market. Very good marketing guy. But yeah, I didn't think it was going to go off the way it went off.
Yeah.
And funny enough, you know, after that, he had done a number of things, or he did a number of things that, like, added credibility, added weight, added value to, let's say, the reselling power of items that were, you know, done by Slawn in general. So it kind of, I think, in my opinion, was, I want to say a catalyst, could have been an additive. I don't know how you want to say it. But it did, because, you know, the market, whether it's manipulated or not, it creates conversation.
Of course.
So the way they did it, the way it's received, the way that even till very recently, someone said to me, I've got one of these watches, I'd love to resell it. I bought it for a higher price. I'd love to sell it as well through you if you can. I'm like, well, I don't know about that, mate. You handle it on your own. Yeah. So it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
it's
but
good.
the power of collaboration, you know, that's what we need more of within like our
100%.
community.
100%.
So I touched on, you know, art and like art as a wearable piece.
Yeah.
Art, and art has traditionally lived in galleries.
Yeah.
But you put it onto somebody's wrist.
Yeah.
So what changes when people can actually wear the artwork?
It means you can move around with it. That's the first thing. You can appreciate it. I mean, if you're a lover of art, like I'm slowly becoming a lover of art, wearing art on your wrist, it just allows you to embrace, enjoy whilst you're on the move. Because, you know, every piece of art, every watch, you know, they remind you of something somewhere, somehow. You know, you have a feeling like this watch now, I'd always look at him like, you know, it was a moment, you know, like we created a moment. And somebody else will see him like I was on a train like the other day, and then some guy looked at the watch and said, he's from Nigeria. He said, boss, how much you get that watch for? I looked at him, I said,
oh, that was bold. Just like, oh, I don't know you from nowhere.
I could see him in the corner of my eye. He's been watching it for a minute.
Yeah.
So he was itching to ask. So he just found that right moment to just ask. So he asked, and I said, I made it. Mm-hmm. Then he laughed. And then I was on the phone at the time. I was talking to my boy Arnold. And I said, Arnold, you know, the guy I'm speaking to in front of, he doesn't believe that I made it. But it's cool. We're on a train. That's it. But you don't expect people, you know, to believe what you say if they don't know the history behind it other than what they've been presented. So
yeah, and they don't know that it's possible to make a watch as well. You know, like you can just make, you know.
Exactly. It's not a normal thing to do. Like, you know, but yeah, that's where I see, you know, watches, art. I think they're two things that go hand in hand, in my opinion. I've made it work, and I'm watching more and more people make it. Even brands now, they're trying to tap into other artists, you know, maybe not as, you know, graffiti or street or urban or our culture, but they are tapping into artists to collaborate with them on timepieces, and then using that narrative of, you know, the art being created, the time it's taking, the design that's being put on it, the materials, all of that stuff. They're now creating a narrative around it. So it's nice to see.
It is nice to see. Just bring a bit more beauty into things. Everything's been stripped down to such minimalistic style that we're missing colour and beauty. And, you know, I think there was a psychology behind that it kind of like dulls the senses a little bit. And, it has a negative effect on us as humans. So, yes, more colour, more art, definitely. I'm going to pivot just a little bit. So you've become involved with Lux Afrique Polo. And let's talk about Lux Afrique Polo as an event, because it's beautiful. Like, it's redefining again polo as we think of it as this very European sport. But like, if in your own words.
You know, polo actually originates from Africa.
See, I didn't know that. Every day's a lesson.
Africa. So what? So there's 4 of us that are involved in that project, or you could say the founding people. Alex is one of them. We have Gore, we have Yemi, and myself. So I guess the whole idea of Lux Afrique is to give people a place of, I guess, people that look like us, successful like us, and even more successful people, and friends of the diaspora and
allies,
you know, all that stuff.
Everyone.
All into the same space,
but
to embrace our people, which is the first thing, and embracing our people in a, let's call it, a luxury space environment is something that is always very, very important to us, because, you know, we get a lot of slack. I mean, people don't really believe that we can put on together like a high profile event, but, you know, it's achievable.
It is.
So the whole point of Lux Afrique is to, again, bring our people together first and foremost, give them an opportunity to meet one another, connect with one another, build relationships, and then, of course, you know, whatever happens after that in terms of, you know, how your business ventures go, it's cool. But it's a very, very big networking experience, in my opinion. And then you have horses in the back just playing polo. So that's also quite cool.
It's come across my socials for, at least like a good couple of years now.
Yeah, we're on the 8th one. This is the 8th one.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm gonna go to that one day. I'm gonna go to that one day. I don't know why I don't ever get around to doing it, but I will be there this year. So I'm looking forward to that.
It'll be nice to see.
It's just colourful,
very
stylish.
Very.
I'm like, this
people dress well.
I should
people
be
dress
there.
Well. And it's nice to see our people dressing well. You know, it's
favourite genre.
It just
well-dressed black people.
Yeah, it's a statement. You know, and I think, again, our people should get behind it more. In my opinion, I don't think enough of our people are getting behind it, and I'll say that quite clearly. If we had more of our people getting behind it, I mean, this will be we have like between 3,000 and 4,000 people turning up annually. You know, which for us isn't a big number. To others it might be, but, you know, we should be having straight 10,000 people, 15,000 people on the field. You know,
Ascot type of crowd.
Yeah. So you see a lot of our people at Ascot, but, you know, in my opinion, they should be at the Lux Afrique Polo.
Yep.
You know, and I'm saying this because, you know, I haven't always been the guy to speak in this way, but I see it now. Like, why is it that you guys support that but fail to support this? It doesn't make sense to me. We are embracing you, and no disrespect to the Ascotson guys, they're not embracing you.
No, absolutely not. And it's weird because you can see it's kind of come a bit segregated, and not even just by colour, but even by class. So you'll have like the royal box, and then you've just got this other side, and no, it's black people and white people, and working class, if you want to say that. Again, it's just this weird classism, racism, and not that I'm encouraging segregation, but when you go to events like, you know, Lux Afrique Polo, that's not going to be an experience, you know. And this is why it's
a very like welcoming, warm experience, you know, to the point where you look at it like, wow, I can't believe, you know, so many of our people, because it's not in London, it's like a little distance outside of London, and it's like people have dressed up, taken coaches, driven, booked hotels locally, you know, lodges, all of that, you know, and they're all here just to experience this one day event.
It's an event.
It's so beautiful to see. And I always, you know, I don't think I say it enough myself, but thank you to everyone that's always, you know, supported us from very, you know, day one when we started at Hand Polo Club. It's beautiful to have you supporting us.
and thank you to you and the team for creating things like this, because if it's not created, then we can't experience it. So, you know, that's important. And I think I think we've kind of tapped into my question of where we see Black creators redefining what luxury looks like. And hopefully we'll see a lot more of that. So looking forward, luxury seems to be changing. It's becoming more culturally diverse and globally connected. So where do you think that movement is heading?
I think if we do it correctly, I think the movement will come back to us. And when I say that, remember, there's a lot of brands, French brands, Italian brands that take inspiration from, let's say, Africa, the Caribbean.
Oh, yes.
But it's never like that part of it. The inspiration is never documented. It's always just the final product. But I think now more and more designers are coming forward and they're being uplifted by their communities. And now, you know, you have social media, you have all these mediums that you can actually document the process. So I think it's going to come to us. I mean, hands down, and this is for me, I'm not a racist. And
no, of course not.
Like, hands down, our people dress amazing. And we dress differently as well. But we dress amazing, you know, from east to south to central to north to, you know, all parts of Africa, it comes. And the Caribbeans as well, you know, they have their style, but I think we're all one, you know.
Yeah, of course. So, we are. I agree with that sentiment. We have very different cultures, but essentially, like the essence of it, it's all, we can trace that all back to the motherland.
Exactly.
And again, you know,
I think it will come back to us. I think I'm looking forward to who really champions their brand to be the next Louis Vuitton. I actually want to see a lot more conglomerates.
Okay.
You know, within the Black community. I don't think there's any, if I'm not, I could be mistaken. But, you know, like you have the LVMH group, you know, I'd love to see a Black variation of that.
Yes.
Or I say a Black variation, but a variation of that from our community, our culture.
That stands in its own right.
Right. And it competes like for like.
Yeah.
It's like, we have that. Yeah, we own this. We own that. We own, you know, and it's like a whole big group. That's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah. And that's powerful.
That is powerful.
That's powerful for the next 2 or 3 generations.
Yeah. And Africa is a young, they've got a young population, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
they have a young population, like the talent exists. And the history as well. It's very, you know, so you can tap into kind of like this artisanal craftsmanship, bring that into like the modern era. We've got a wealth of that. Yeah. So it's so exciting.
I'm looking forward to it. You know, and you can't even say that they're stealing because they're from it.
No.
You know, so that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking for someone who is on that kind of frequency where it's like, all right, let me imagine myself to be an LVMH. Let me imagine myself to be Louis Vuitton. Let me imagine myself to be a Prada. Let me imagine myself to be a Gucci. And what would they do? And how could I do it better, but use where I'm from as pure inspiration, because that's what they would do anyway.
Yeah.
They will come to Africa, they will take inspiration from here, there and there, amalgamate it and put it on a product and everybody buys it for thousands of dollars.
And laps it up. Yeah. Yes. No, absolutely. Okay. Yes. So you mentioned wanting to move further into the art world. What does the next chapter look like?
Yeah. So a couple of days ago, I signed the exclusive sales rights and representation in the UK for an Italian artist, meaning, in layman terms, I am able to sell his work, present his work, and deal with his work affairs in the UK. Now, art for me, that's kind of been a thing now. I've created a lot of relationship with artists that sell their work from anything from £1,000 to £100,000, being a blue chip, which is, you know, blue chip is basically any artist that can sell their work for over $100,000.
Okay.
But I've got, you know, artists that are selling work for £100,000. So for me, the art world, I want to create a lot more relationships, bridge a lot more gaps, create a lot more collaborations where we put their artwork onto watches of any level. You know, I could put your artwork onto a Rolex, I can put it onto a Swatch, I can put it onto one of my brands, SWRISS, please. I can do anything with watch styles on pretty much any watch. So that's one way, but also I want to represent them and have their work, because I don't think I even said it. I designed a Bentley as well.
Oh no! Let's talk about that for a minute.
I put artwork onto a Bentley 2019.
Wow!
I put a well-known artist from Iceland who's based in Paris, I think. And the reason why I'm not going to say a name is because if I got that wrong, it might piss her off. But I put her artwork. I actually came up with the idea. I put her artwork on a Bentley, approached Bentley and said, look, I'm working with a gallery down the road. I'm putting on a watch event. How about I have your cars support us? But not just only that, how about if I put a piece of art onto your car and then we can take it on a tour around Mayfair, give people a drive in a vehicle, take some pictures. And then at the end of that, you can showcase it at your, because I think Freeze was coming up. So you can showcase it in your gallery, in your showroom, and have people come there, look at the, car or whatnot. And they went, they took it.
Yeah.
And it was good. So that was, the reason why I say that is I want to do more of those kind of projects, not just Bentleys. I want to do a Ferrari. I'd want to do a Formula One car. I'd want to do bus, truck, anything that really, where you can place artwork on it. Furniture. There's so many things you can do.
Yeah,
Art,
yeah.
Cutlery, sculptures, whatever. But also not just that. I want to collaborate artists as well. So, an artist from one country and an artist from another country, and somehow bridge the gap where they can collaborate on a piece together and just create small experiences, medium experiences, large experiences, where people can acquire, meet, understand, learn, and think about maybe, future products that they might be able to get. So that's, for me, that's where I'm not your traditional, he wants to be a art dealer. I'm looking at art very differently.
Right.
And I also don't want my hard work to go to vain. So meaning if I'm working with you as an artist, let me know that we're working together and we're working exclusively. And if we're not, let's have an understanding of what our relationship will be. But art has been a thing of mine since about 2019 actually. And then we've kind of moved it. So yeah, that's the long answer of where art is moving for me.
No, it's nice because it sounds like you're building a very collaborative ecosystem, which is important. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So when people look back on your career in 20 years, what do you hope they say you changed? Big question.
I just want, I say it quite often actually, I'm going to cheat on this one. I always say to myself, I hope that whatever I'm doing now give somebody somewhere in the world, generations after me, or even immediately, the opportunity to keep going forward with it. Because it's not simple, it's not easy, like waking up one day and saying I'm going to design watches, like that's not, nobody's, you have to understand that there's some months that I have zero in my account. There's some months that, I'm okay. Do you know what I'm saying? There's some months I'm very okay. But, if a young person watching this ever sees this, I just want, in 20 years from now, if, we're still here, look at this as inspiration. Just say, okay, you know what? I appreciate what this guy has done, and I'm going to do something better than this guy in order to make the people after him, this person saying this, also benefit.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a lineage, kind of, where it's like, I've done something, pass it on. You've done something, pass it on. And that way, that's where we gain our respect. Because as a community, as Black people, we don't have much respect on a global scale. Yes, maybe amongst our peers and little, social networks and groups. But as a nation, as people, politically, we're not respected. And you can see it.
No, I do agree with that sentiment, unfortunately.
So if we're able to penetrate that thought process by action, by doing things that can be passed on. Because when I always tell people I design watches, they're like, what? I thought you was going to say you're a rapper.
Unexpected, isn't it?
Or, you're a footballer or a basketball player.
Yeah.
You design what?
Stereotype.
Then it's like, tell me more. Wow, you know what? Maybe I was in New York once, and one guy, two a bit older guys than me, they were like, oh, yeah, well, you should be talking to auction houses. If someone has a piece of art that they buy for 100 million, they should be able to, give you 500K and you put that same art on there. So stuff like that. So they've now decided to start giving me ideas and gems. So if we can get into those positions where those are more regular conversations, where people feel comfortable enough to have those conversations with us and they give us ideas and we're giving them ideas, that will go a long way. Yes, it's very small. It might not mean anything at this point, but long-term wise, it does help with the larger picture, and people will start to respect, our people, of our color, of our background, of our, cultural networks, it's like, yeah, those guys over there, they do their thing. Black people are very, well-to-do people. They're respected. Not everybody is, a problem. Most of them aren't, actually. So we want to get to that stage. And if that kid or those people watching who, can take a gem from this, pass that on so that we can get to that eventual goal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you said, passing down legacy. So I like to close on a full circle moment, and it's just basically a reflective moment, looking back at the younger Manny before any of the luxury projects, collaborations, or collector pieces. What advice would you give him?
Make the mistakes early. Always make mistakes, because the more mistakes you make, the closer you are to the solution. Keep making mistakes. Don't hesitate. That's one thing I did growing up. I hesitated a lot. Like, oh, how are they going to look at me, or how are they going to think? I mean, I've always been a guy that, really didn't care. But, I still had, like, if I'm going to be completely honest, I did have that level of like, oh, maybe not. Oh, maybe those girls might look at me funny, or maybe the guys might. So if I was to say anything to like my younger self, like, make those mistakes. Hustle your arse off, hustle harder. If your parents say you can't do something, okay, no problem, but respectfully, I'm going to do it because you have a plan.
Right.
Don't do it to be rebellious and get yourself in trouble. And like, be smart. Think, look around you. Like, okay, cool. What can I do to, change my situation? If you're like me, coming from a very difficult, background or home, how can you change that situation? So yeah, just make a mistake. Make as many mistakes as you can. And then by the time you hit 21, you're flying. Work.
Great advice. Make the mistakes fast. Well, Manny, thank you. It's been such a great chat, and just for being visible and just showing us a different path and a different way for other generations. That, like you said, we're not just in sports or rappers. We're out here doing marvelous things. So thank you so much. If people want to follow your journey, where can they find you?
So I use Instagram a lot. So it's Magno _ forever. So Magno MAGNO _ forever.
And business website?
Business. So we have the luxury customization of watches, which is SplendorEunique.com. We have the affordable watches, which I mentioned before, which is SWRISS.com. And we also have the hat company called Strong Wings, which I'm wearing a non-official 7-Eleven hat. Yes, and so I'm not selling these 7-Eleven. It just looks cool, so I did it. I tried to email you guys, but anyway. But yeah, I do make hats, and it's called Strong Wings. So it's strongwings.co.uk.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And guys, if you want to follow the Black Circle's journey, we are on the Black Circle podcast across all socials. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you.